Obviously, I think this is where we need to start the podcast.
Course.
Be positive. Let's be positive today, right now, for as long as we can, and then we'll kind of get into some nitty gritty stuff. You saw your girl in concert at Ford Field last night. By the way, kind of cruel that the Tigers game the next day would be like roughly an hour and a half earlier start after that for your boy over there. But
It's a cool
regardless,
summer.
I like that. Regardless, how was it, man? Tell us about the concert. People want
Yeah,
to know.
yeah, awesome show. Definitely the busiest I've ever seen downtown Detroit. If you were in the area at all, you've experienced some of that, and navigating the crowds and the foot traffic and the teen girls and like crazy colors and stuff is not fun until you're actually at the show. But I have to say it was an incredible performance, best concert I've ever been to. I think hands down, and I feel like I've been to some good ones. Seen Taylor before, Reputation, seen some of my other favorite artists, country artists and more intimate venues too. So a very different type show, but this was the most engaged I've ever seen an entire arena, whether it's a sporting event, a concert, or anything. The production value was great, and it was just 3 hours of bangers, man. It was awesome.
In 3 hours. I mean, that's a lot.
It's a long show,
That's a
Springsteen-esque.
Yeah, and she's probably she's probably top 10 most famous person in the world right now, I would say.
Probably
Probably
so, yeah.
most famous artist in the world right now, probably. I mean, she has taken over. It's
I mean,
fascinating.
that's something I was trying to keep in mind. Like, I always am kind of fascinated when you see footage of old, like, whether it's Woodstock or just like, the Rolling Stones or like the Beatles' first US tour. And it's just like, what was this like? What was it there? What was it like to be there for a landmark moment in music history? And the Eras tour, man, I think people are going to be talking about it in the music world for a long time.
Yeah, broke Ticketmaster, number
It
one.
did break
And
Ticketmaster, literally going to change ticket policies.
yeah, I mean, that's impact. And not to mention the fact that, we were talking about this in part, obviously, favorite artist, but a turn the corner listener is the one that,
That's true. Shout out Jason big time. Jason wasn't there. I still owe Jason a beer. We actually toasted to you.
that's
Yeah,
great.
before the show. So shout out again, Jason.